Welcome back here to Mighty Mac on YouTube. Like I said in the past, if you enjoy the content that we provide here, then be sure to subscribe today to the channel so you don't miss any of the action coming forward. As you can see, we are now live here at Summit Racing Equipment Motorsports Park for the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals. We're going to be showing you all the highlights from today's action, as well as in the future for the summer months as we head into the Western Swing, as well as the run-up to the US Nationals. So if you like drag racing coverage, then be sure to subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So day one here at Summit Racing Equipment Motorsports Park is in the books for the Summer Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals. So good to be back here in Norwalk, Ohio. This is one of the greatest tracks that you can come to on the tour because of the fact it's in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. So it's really nice and quiet out here. You have a really cool midway that they have set up over there for the fans. And then, of course, what they're most known for, with the fact that it is nighttime here in Norwalk, Ohio. As soon as Q2's over, behind where this camera is, there was an incredible fireworks show for all to see. Obviously, the big story coming to this was being John Force. No update, not going to even try. What I will say, John Force Racing is on the property this weekend. All three cars are here. Two of them are on display with John Force and Brittany Force. They actually took Brittany Force's car out of the trailer and pulled it over to the Cornwall Tools display. That's where that car is going to be sitting. The one car that is sitting here is going to be Austin Prock, that is competing. Ends up the show #1 qualifier after 2 rounds. An impressive performance from them as always. But still, some incredible things being done here on behalf of Cornwall Tools, NHRA, and John Force Racing. There's so many things for fans to sign, to give their well wishes to. Alan Reinhart, right before they launched Funny Car in Q1, gave a really good speech for the fans and told them to give them your joyous energy to try and boost morale for them and the family. Standing ovation. You could hear it in the media center. I've been told down on the starting line it was even louder for them. Really, really cool moment for them. Something that you love to see. Again, give your thoughts and prayers to John Force Racing in this time of need. It's going to be a long road recovery for them, but man, oh man, would it be good to see Austin Prock sweep the weekend, but only time will tell on that. We do have some highlights to go over today, so let's look into the results and then look forward on to Saturday afternoon. In Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith is #1 qualifier with a 6.748. A new track record ET shows him at the top of the board with an 1:053 60-foot time. He's without a doubt the closest to Gage Herrera, with arguably Chase Van Sant, the only person behind him. Angie Smith completing the 1-2 for Matt Smith Racing with a 6.798, a very much needed result here in qualifying for them. And Gage Herrera ends up #3 with a 7.999. 6.799. Had a bad start on the starting line in Q1. That really hurt him going into Q2. John Evaristo completes the 3 out of the top 4 for Matt Smith Racing with an 8.02, building off of her momentum back from Bristol. Richard Gadsden rounds out 5th. Chase Van Sant 6th. He had a 1:057 60-foot time. Hector Ronnie Jr. at 7th. John Hall rounds out the top half. Mark Ingwerson down in 9th. Steve Johnson in 10th. Chris Bostick 11th. Ron the Rat Torno in 12th. E.G. Kawakami in 13th. And 14th is Wesley Wells with a 7.516. Only 14 bikes are on the property once again this weekend. In Pro Stock, and Greg Anderson ends up #1 with a 6.592. He ends up going #1 out of Q1. Tries to go into Q2. The car would not start. They tried to restart it with no avail. Had to abort the run to give Derek Kramer a solo pass. He ends up on the top though with a 6.592, the only racer in the 5-second category, or in a 6.5-second category. Eric Anders rounds out #2 with a 6.01. Derek Kramer with a really good result in 3rd with a 6.05. You're going to see a lot of these 6s here in a second. Matt Harford in 4th, 6.06. Dallas Glenn, 6.07. Aaron Stanfield, 6.08. Tied for Eric Latino with another 6.08. Mason McGahey, a 6.11. So again, you're talking from 2nd all the way down to 7th, separated by 1,000th of a second. That's how close this is. Jerry Tucker, a 6.15 in 9th. Troy Coughlin Jr., 10th, a 6.18. Chris McGahey in 11th. Jed Coughlin Jr. down there in 12th. 13th, Fernando Quadra. 14th, David Quadra. 15th, Christian Quadra completing the Quadra Boy lineup. Larry Morgan rounds it out in 16th. No Pro Stock racer is going to go home this weekend. Same for the funny cars, with John Force unable to race this weekend. It bumps it from 17th up to 16th, meaning every single car on the property is going to make the show. Austin Prock, with undoubtedly the worst position to be in, having to deal with the fact that he's going to be the only John Force Racing driver on the camp. Shows up and shows up big. Number 1 qualifier with a 3.863. J.R. Todd in second with an 8.65. Bob Tasker the third with an 8.94. Daniel Wilkerson in fourth with a 9.03. Paulie in fifth with a 9.10. Blake Alexander down in sixth with a 9.11. Chad Green in seventh. Matt Hager rounds out the top half. In ninth, you're going to find Ron Cap with a 9.42. Alexis DeJoria in 10th. Bobby Bodie, a really good run up at 11th. Dave Richards back in 12th. He had 2 clean runs today in the 4-second category, so a really good result for him. Cruz Pedregon in 13th. Buddy Hole down in 14th. Joe Morrison in 15th. Chris King rounds out 16th. Lastly, in the dragsters, Doug Coletta goes at number 1. Really topsy-turvy top fuel session. If you literally... The number 2 qualifier, Sean Langdon, came into the second. By the time he was the last pair up, he was on the bump spot. Dan Mercier, who was number 1, got bumped down to 13th. Doug Coletta, first pair out, goes to 6.92, bumps it up to the number 1 spot. Antron Brown in second with a 7.22. Trip Tatum, a good run up in third, especially for Doug Foley up there in fourth. Tony Stewart continuing to build momentum with a 7.48, sees him in fifth. Sean Langdon in sixth. Justin Ashley 7th. Clay Milliken rounds out in 8th. Sean Reed ends up in 9th. TJ Zizzo in 10th. Billy Torrance 11th. Jasmine Salinas in 12th. 13th, you're going to find Steve Torrance. Dan Mercier at the sail for 14th. Tony Schumacher, your winner from back in Bristol, in 15th. Kyle Wurtzel rounds out the 16-car field that is in the show. And then the 3 cars not in the show. Spencer Massey, 17th with an 8.07. Josh Hart with an 8.27. This is a race he really is going to want to make because of the fact there's an R&L Carriers facility right across the street from where he's parked. And then Travis Shoemake, making one of his return attempts, finds himself down in the 19th and final position. So once again, we have highlights to show you from today's event that are provided us from the NHRA. Let's show you that, and then we get to hear from some of the drivers on how they did here today.
Matt Smith, 105 to the 60-foot clocks. 674, 201, 31. Hey, Norwalk, that's the quickest motorcycle that's ever gone down this racetrack. A brand new track record for Matt and the Denso folks. 6.748, 201 the speed. So Greg and Dallas, 1 and 2 in the points. Final 2 down. Derek Kramer, number 1. 6:59. I knew there was something out there. 2:07.69. Give Greg Anderson 3 points. Move him to the top. .386.3, 327 miles an hour by 2 thousandths of a second. Austin Prock goes to the top. Running good last week as well. They're trying to keep that momentum going. Applied Innovations on the side of Doug Coletta's championship machine. Well, that should move Doug up a little bit. 3.692, 332 miles an hour, and Doug Coletta by a full 1/10 of a second goes right straight to the top.
We talked just about the sandbagging thing and how looking over and knowing exactly when to let off to kind of give you that false sense of hope. Does that frustrate you and anger you at all that they're playing these games this early on in the season, that you're going out there and going like, oh, we're just going to back off and then open it up on race day and see what they actually do?
Yeah, I mean, they did it last year too. It's not just this year. They've been doing it for a whole year and a half. So they've been looking over the whole time for a year and a half, and eventually it's going to catch up with them. Hopefully, like I said, NHRA said they're going to make some rule changes, sounds like, before we go West Coast. So I hope they hit them big enough to where we can really show what their potential is. And we'll see. We need to make this class competitive where every brand has a shot to win. You got to remember, this was the last race last year that the V-Twin won. It's been a whole year since the V-Twin won. So we're going to try to do it this weekend, and hopefully we can.
Said with how hard this week has been for you guys, just how important was it for you and the team as a whole to be able to come here and get these first 2 runs out of the way?
It was great, it's nice, like
we're one team here at John Force Racing, and we've had, you know, unbelievable support from, you know, not only our team members, but everybody here has been really nice this weekend and thoughtful. So just can keep on keeping on, like Danny Hood said.
So that is going to wrap up the video here for night 1 of the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals. We'll be back here tomorrow for Saturday's 2 rounds of qualifying, as well as the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. And then, of course, for Sunday, for Sunday eliminations. So again, if you like the content we provide here, be sure to subscribe to the channel today so you don't miss any of the action. Follow us on the social media pages down below on MightyMac03 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. And then, of course, just be sure to like and comment down below. Tell us who you think is going to win this weekend here in Norwalk in all the 4 pro categories. And until Saturday night, this has been Mighty Mac. We will see you next time.